I welcome you all to my lecture number 9.2 on signals and systems for electronics and communication engineering students and for electronics and computer engineering students. Today I'm going to discuss determination of Fourier series representation of continuous time periodic signals. Assume that a given periodic signal can be represented in series form as xt is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to infinity ak e raised to power j k capital omega naught t, marked as equation L1. Now in this equation, ak is unknown, so we need to find or determine the set of coefficients ak. Now multiplying both sides of above equation by e raised to power minus j and capital omega naught t to get xt e raised to power minus j n omega naught t, and that is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to infinity ak e raised to power j capital omega naught t bracket k minus n, mark it as equation L2. Further, integrating both sides of above equation from 0 to capital T, where capital T is equal to 2 pi by capital omega naught, we have integration from 0 to capital T xt e raised to power minus j and omega naught t dt is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to infinity ak bracket integration from 0 to capital T e raised to power j bracket k minus n omega naught t dt, mark it as equation L3. Now this term in brackets need to be determined, that is unknown. But we know that integration from 0 to capital T e raised to power j bracket k minus n omega naught t dt is equal to capital T for k is equal to n, and it is 0 for k not equal to n. Mark it as equation L4. Now substituting L4 in L3, that is for k is equal to n. Here, for k is equal to n, this term in brackets is having value capital T. So by simplifying this equation L3, I can get an is equal to ak is equal to 1 by t integration from 0 to capital T xt e raised to power minus j and omega naught t dt. Mark it as equation L5. However, we denote integration over any interval of length capital T by this symbol. Then integration over a period of capital T e raised to power j bracket k minus n omega naught t dt is equal to t for k is equal to n, and it is equal to 0 for k not equal to n. Mark it as equation L6. Consequently, an is equal to integration over a period of capital T xt e raised to power minus j and omega naught t divided by capital T into dt is equal to 1 by t integration over a period of capital T xt e raised to power minus j and 2 pi by capital T into dt. Now we need to determine the coefficient A naught first. So we will substitute n is equal to 0 here, and this will make this term 1. So that leads to A naught is equal to 1 by t integration over a period of capital T xt dt. The coefficient A naught is the dc or constant component of xt, which is simply the average value of xt over one period. Therefore, the continuous time Fourier series of a periodic signal is represented as xt is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to infinity ak e raised to power j k omega naught t, and that is further equal to summation k running from minus infinity to infinity ak e raised to power j k 2 pi by capital T into T, marked as equation M1. Now this equation M1 is referred to as the synthesis equation. This is very important. This equation M1 is referred to as the synthesis equation. And ak is equal to 1 by t integration over a period of capital T xt e raised to minus jk capital omega naught t dt is equal to 1 by t integration over a period of capital T xt e raised to power minus jk bracket 2 pi by capital T into t multiplied by dt. Mark it as equation M2 as shown on screen. So equation M3 is referred to as the analysis equation. Now M1 and M2 are main equations. That is M1 is synthesis equation for xt and M2 is analysis equation for ak, coefficient ak. The set of coefficients ak are often called the Fourier series coefficients or the spectral coefficients or the spectral coefficients of xt. These complex coefficients measure the portion of the signal xt that is at each harmonic of the fundamental component. So this is very important that the set of coefficient ak are often called the Fourier series coefficients or the spectral coefficients of xt. And these complex coefficients measure the portion of the signal xt that is at each harmonic of the fundamental component. Now we will discuss first example. The periodic square wave sketched in the following figure and defined over one period as xt is equal to 1 for small t magnitude less than t1 and xt is equal to 0 when small t magnitude is lying in the range capital T1 to t by 2. So here it is the periodic square wave. Now xt is a signal that we usually use. This signal is periodic with fundamental period capital T and fundamental frequency omega naught 2 pi by capital T. Now look at this periodic square wave. xt is having amplitude 1 when small t is varying from minus t1 to t1, and this pattern is repeating itself after a period of capital T. So that is why xt is periodic. And this equation indicates one period of square wave, periodic square wave. To determine the Fourier series coefficients for xt, we follow a naught is equal to 1 by t integration from minus t1 to t1 1 dt. Mark it as equation p1. So how it has come? Let us have a look at a naught. A naught is equal to 1 by t integration over a period of capital T xt dt. Here xt is 1 for t in the range minus t1 to t1. So here there is a limit minus t1 to t1 in this integration. So a naught is equal to 1 by t integration from minus t1 to t1 1 dt, and that is equal to 2 t1 by t. Mark it as equation p1. Now for k not equal to 0, ak is equal to 1 by t integration from minus t1 to t1 1 e raised to minus jk capital omega naught t dt. Now following the conventional procedure, ak is equal to 2 by k omega naught t bracket e raised to j k omega naught t1 minus e raised to minus j k omega naught t1 by 2j. So ak is equal to, now this term in bracket is equal to sine bracket k omega naught t1. So ak is equal to 2 pi. So ak is equal to 2 by k omega naught t sine bracket k omega naught t1. Mark it as equation p2. If we use omega naught t is equal to 2 pi, then ak is equal to sine bracket k omega naught t1 divided by k pi. Mark it as equation P3 for k not equal to 0. Now we will discuss special case. For capital T is equal to 4t1, xt is a square wave that is unity for half the period and 0 for half the period. In this case, capital omega naught t1 is equal to pi by 2. And ak is equal to sine bracket pi k by 2 divided by k pi. Now put omega naught t1 is equal to pi by 2 here. So that will lead to ak is equal to sine bracket pi k by 2 divided by k pi for k not equal to 0. And a naught is equal to 1 by 2. How? Here a naught is equal to t 2t1 by t. We have assumed capital T is equal to 4t1. So a naught is equal to 1 by 2. Now ak is equal to 0 for k even and non-zero, and sine bracket pi k by 2 alternates between +1 and -1 for successive odd values of k. Therefore, a1 is equal to a minus 1 is equal to 1 by pi, a3 is equal to a minus 3 is equal to -1 by 3 pi, and a5 is equal to a minus 5 is equal to 1 by 5 pi, and so on. Now I have plotted ak with respect to k. Now a0 is equal to 1 by 2 here. Now a1 is 1 by pi, a minus 1 is also 1 by pi. Now a3 is minus 1 by 3 pi, a minus 3 is minus 1 by 3 pi, and a5 is 1 by 5 pi, a minus 5 is 1 by 5 pi, and so on. So this is the representation of Fourier series coefficient ak with respect to k. Now we will discuss convergence of Fourier series. Let us examine the problem of approximating a given periodic signal xt by a linear combination of finite number of harmonically related complex exponentials. That is, by a finite series of the form x and t is equal to summation k running from minus n to n a k e raised to power j k capital omega naught t, marked as q1. Now this is a finite series. That is why instead of infinity, here we are putting capital N. Instead of infinity, we are putting capital N because this is a finite series. Let E and T denote the approximation error, that is E and T is equal to xt minus x and t. Mark it as equation Q2. Now the corresponding energy in the error over one period is capital En is equal to integration over a period of capital T, magnitude E and T square dt. That is equation Q3. So this is energy in error over one period. Now it is noteworthy that as n tends to infinity, then limit n tends to infinity, En tends to 0. That is energy in error over one period tends to 0. Similarly, limit n tends to infinity, x and t will tend to xt. That is, the finite series will approach the actual Fourier series representation for xt. However, a set of Dirichlet conditions satisfied by all the signals guarantees that xt equals its Fourier series representation. These Dirichlet conditions are as follows. So there are three conditions which need to be fulfilled by a periodic signal xt so that we can represent it in the form of Fourier series. So these three Dirichlet conditions are as follows. Condition 1. Over any period, xt must be absolutely integrable. That is, integration over a period of capital T, magnitude xt dt must be less than infinity. Mark it as equation S1. Now, the Fourier series coefficient ak, the magnitude of ak, is less than equal to 1 by t integration over a period of capital T magnitude xt e raised to minus j k omega naught t dt. Now this is equal to 1 by t integration over a period of capital T magnitude xt dt. Mark it as equation S2. It follows that magnitude ak is less than infinity. Mark this equation as S3 and this equation is S2. So the condition which need to be fulfilled is S1 and S3. Now I will give you one example. A periodic signal that violates the Dirichlet condition is xt is equal to 1 by t when t is ranging between 0 to 1. That is, xt is periodic with period 1. So we cannot represent this signal in terms of Fourier series, though it is periodic. Now condition number 2. In any finite interval of time, xt is of bounded variation. That is, there are no more than a finite number of maxima and minima during any single period of the signal. In any finite interval of time, xt is of bounded variation. That is, there are no more than a finite number of maxima and minima during any single period of the signal. A function that meets the condition 1 but not condition 2 is xt is equal to sine bracket 2 pi by t when t is lying in the range 0 to 1. Now, for this function, which is periodic with capital T is equal to 1, integration 0 to 1 magnitude xt dt is less than 1. So this function fulfills the first Dirichlet condition, but this function has, however, an infinite number of maxima and minima in the interval. So therefore, it violates the second condition. So we cannot express this xt is equal to sine bracket 2 pi by t in terms of Fourier series. Now condition number 3, in any finite interval of time, there are only a finite number of discontinuities. Furthermore, each of these discontinuities is finite. Since the square wave satisfies the Dirichlet conditions, the limit as n tends to infinity of x and t at the discontinuities should be the average value of the discontinuity. Furthermore, for any other value of t, say t is equal to t1, we are guaranteed that limit n tends to infinity x and bracket t1 is equal to xt1. Now, we will first have a look at the graph, that is convergence of Fourier series representation. Now, this is one period of the square wave plotted on the screen. This is the one period of square wave. So this green, this is xt, the actual signal, and this red colored signal is approximated signal x and t when n is equal to 7. Now, if I will increase n, the value of capital N, that is n is increased to 79, then this is the signal xt, and this red colored signal is x and t, and on the corner this is overshoot, and these are ripples. So we will have details of that. Now Gibbs showed that specifically for a discontinuity of unity height, the partial sum exhibits a maximum value of 1.09, no matter how large capital N becomes. As n increases, the ripples in the partial sums become compressed towards the discontinuity, but for any finite value of n, the peak amplitude of the ripples remain constant. This behavior has come to be known as Gibbs phenomenon. So this is very important. What is Gibbs phenomenon? Once more, I repeat that Gibbs showed that specifically for a discontinuity of unity height, the partial sum exhibits a maximum value of 1.09, no matter how large capital N becomes. As n increases, the ripples in the partial sums become compressed towards the discontinuity, but for any value, that is any finite value of n, the peak amplitude of the ripples remains constant. This behavior has come to be known as the Gibbs phenomenon. The implication is that the truncated Fourier series approximation x and t of the discontinuous signal xt will in general exhibit high frequency ripples and overshoot xt near the discontinuities. Now have a look. This is overshoot. These are the ripples. Here this is x and t for n is equal to 7. Here this is x and t for n is equal to 79. See the change when I have increased the value of n from 7 to 79. So this is the convergence of Fourier series representation. Now I think that's all for the day. I finish my lecture here. These are the reference books. This first book is your textbook, that is Signals and System by A.V. Oppenheim, by A.S. Wilsky, and by S.H. Nawab. And you can consult other 3 reference books also. And the main reference book is Signals and Systems by A. Nagoorkani. Thanks for attending this session on Signals and Systems. See you in next lecture. Have a nice day.